So are you all excited, guys? Yes, sir. Are you all aware regarding the personality who is present over there? Yes, sir. As it has already been announced, however, now let me brief you something related to him. So he is having an 8 years of experience in media industry. He has been awarded as the best English news presenter in Sri Lanka in 2021. He is an award-winning news anchor in Sri Lanka. In addition to this, he provides the sessions based on personality development, soft skills, and public speaking in educational institutions, not only in Sri Lanka, but also in outside Sri Lanka as well. For the same reason, he has been invited over there in Bengaluru for some event, and last night he has visited Jharkhand. And undoubtedly, it's a privilege and a proud moment for us to have invited Mr. Sandro Satyajit. So please, let's have a huge round of applause for him, guys. Well, definitely we leave no stone unturned in order to improve our personality development along with English speaking. However, without having any other formalities, let's invite the one and only Mr. Sandro.
Small word, right? I want you to repeat that word in the way I tell you to. Now, the word is I confirmed with my good friend who is also a very good coach and his experience, lots of experience, Atif, from him that this is not a bad word in any dialect, right, in India. Chikamalaya. Have you heard that word before? No, sir. No, neither have I, okay? Right, that's a weird word, but it's a meaning, I don't know the meaning, right? You don't also know the meaning, we don't know the meaning. It's a funny word. Now, when you say, when I say a word, I will say the word chi, okay? Chi, you don't have to say it, I will say it. Chi, you will say Chikamalaya. Okay? Alright. Actually, I'm going to change that a bit. I will say the weird word, okay? Since that's a new word for you. I'll say Chikamalaya. I'll give you the easy word. You say chi. Chi? Chi? Okay. Here's the trick. You have to say it in the same emotion I'm saying it. Same emotion. If I say Chikamalaya. No, you have to say chi. Chi, but you can't be happy chi, because I said very sad Chikamalaya. Okay? Chikamalaya. Chikamalaya? You have to say chi.
Only
Okay?
chi with some
Only
expression.
chi. Got it? Say it with me. Chi. 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 Only chi. I will say Chikamalaya is my word. You can't use it. Okay? Alright. Got it now? Alright. Okay. Chi. No. I will say Chikamalaya, you say chi. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Chikamalaya. 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 Now with every Chikamalaya chi, you have to give a clap also. 3, 2, 1. Chikamalaya. 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 Right, okay. How do you feel after that? Excited? Energetic? Yeah? Okay. Why is that? Why is that? Any science students here? Anyone who learned science? Maybe in their school levels, anywhere else? No? Science? Yes? Science students? Can I have a raise of hands? Okay. Right. Brilliant. We have a few here, so you will relate to what I'm saying, but I will say a little later. Right? I'll come to that later. A 14-year-old boy, once upon a time, got up on a wooden stage. He got up on a wooden stage and he tried speaking in public for the first time. He's 14. He was wearing very tight jeans, shivering. His feet were dancing on their own. And he had a small Wikipedia front page about plastic surgery. That was the speech. This boy later on goes on to speaking not only in famous event venues across his country, but also goes on to television, multiple channels, radio, multiple channels in Sri Lanka. That little boy is speaking to you now, many years later. Right? That was, you didn't have to clap, but that was my story. And a lot of people tell me that they can't speak, they've never spoken, but actually, who are the introverts here? Introverts. You know what introverts are? Hands up, introverts. Introverts, okay, brave introverts, good. Others also, introvert or extrovert? Now there's a combination of that called ambiverts also. Yeah? Ah, yes, you all know. Good, brilliant. So introverts is basically, I personally think introverts are the best speakers in the world. This 14-year-old boy, right, I was actually a writer before all of this. I loved writing, and then my writing, some teachers saw my writing and said, Sandro, why don't you try speaking? And I did a speech one day. As for that day, I was the president of the English Literary Association, which didn't exist, right? And then I did a speech, and then people liked it. I was like, okay, this is nice. Then I saw two people outside in an event in Colombo. This was many years ago. Two people on a stage where everybody's singing and dancing. With the mic, they're talking and everybody's cheering. I was like, what is this? You can talk and get people to cheer? You don't have to sing or dance or, shake your butt or nothing. Wow. I want to do this because I can't, at that time, I couldn't sing or dance. Now I have done both once or twice on a stage. I don't do that much. But I was like, I need to do this. I need to find out what this is. Then I found out something called comparing. Have you heard? Comparing, announcing, hosting a show? Yes? That is how I started becoming a speaker. Right? And then I did one event, two events, all in English first. Then, it's very ashamed, but at the time I was very bad in Sinhala because I went to a Sinhala is our main language in Sri Lanka. So I went to a very English school. It was called the British School in Colombo, a very hi-fi English school. But then later on, I had to switch schools. And because everybody was talking in Sinhala in that new school, I told my parents I can't go because they aren't talking in English. Right? So I was very skilled in English, but not in Sinhala. And that was a problem until I was in grade 11. I hated. So Sinhala paper for ordinary levels, you all know? O levels, ordinary levels, yeah? You all have. It's the exam you write when you are 16 years old, the main exam. I don't know what it is in India. Yeah? Yeah? Yes, exactly. Not the university one, before that, the younger one. So Sinhala was the only subject. In the last term, last paper, everything else A's and B's and nice. Except history. I didn't like history at that time also. I slept on the paper, drooling. Right? The teacher came and said to my face, you will fail your entire exam because Sinhala was the main subject. Right? 1 month later, I have a C. Right? From 3 marks or 6 marks, I have a C. C is over 55 marks. And the paper is out of 200. How did I get 100 marks from a 200 mark paper in 1 month? For a language I didn't even like. How? I practiced so much. And then, you know what actually happened? 11 years I spent hating that language. I loved it in that 1 month. I started learning poems also later. So fast forward a few years later, I'm presenting on television also in Sinhala and in English with a lot of practice. Right? That's you don't have to clap, guys. That's okay. So the whole point of that was my story. A little bit of my story was to show you that I had my evolution stages so long. You learn new skills, this, you learn that. And then, of course, that skill later became very powerful to me because later on I went from media and TV presenting to news anchoring, which is very much more responsible. One slip of a language, the entire, let's say as a basic language sentence, right? Let's say I said President Mahinda Rajapaksa has been
former President Mahinda Rajapaksa has captured, has instructed the army to capture, to arrest a minister, right? And if you look at the this prompter wrong, minister has instructed to capture Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. Huh? Finish now. It's like the dog bit you, I was beaten by the dog. No, you said the dog was beaten by me. Active, passive. Right? I'm just telling you, right? Example, huh? All examples. So if you make one small mistake, news, any country, news, big mistake. You saw the BBC journalist recently, 10, 9, 8, 7, the countdown, yeah? Her finger was very elegantly displayed on the screen. I never do anything like that because I know the repercussions. Anyways, news was something that actually helped me train better. Because every language, every word, even the smallest thing, some days there are when the prompter disappears. You're on live TV, all 3 channels, sometimes they simultaneously. In my news channel, News First, it was Tamil, Sinhala and English, all news. We had 3 channels, so whenever breaking news goes on, you know how they simulcast all of it. So sometimes I have to do that, and all of a sudden the paper falls down, or the paper is missing, or the news is not there. So I have to listen to the Sinhala and I have to tell in English. Right? That's hard. Keep it very brief, okay? Your what to say. And then you have your how to say. Now you're catching on, right? Your how to say. What is the how to say? It doesn't matter if you are, how many of you all have gone to schools, universities, wherever. You hear somebody, you go sit in the audience. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to talk about you're asleep, huh? He hasn't even started, you're asleep. I was at an event just last week in Colombo. There was a professor speaking, and I no disrespect to that professor. She's a nice lady, but I fell asleep in the speech. Right? They can be the most educated person of all. If your how to say is bad, you will fall asleep. Now, I was the head prefect of my school, so my eyes are trained to see every one of you as I speak. I know who is chewing gum from this side. I know who is slowly drooping, a little tired from this side. I know who's engaged and who's not. Right? That's my mind has trained to that. Right? And when I said that, the person stood up just now, the chewing gum person. Right? Okay, I'm just saying. Right? Your how to say should be so good that nobody falls asleep. Yes, if you have 1,000 people in the audience, of course, somebody is going to grab a bag of chips and eat it and, or talk to someone or just, grumble about something. Sure. Right? I have compared the biggest stages in Colombo, Sri Lanka, right? And BMICH, you might have heard, might not have heard, it's the biggest convention center in Sri Lanka, Colombo. BMICH, 1,800 audience, up and down, right? You have to look up like this to see the audience. So when I'm looking down, obviously somebody upstairs will be talking. That's not what I'm talking about, okay? Majority, keeping the majority engaged by your how is the most important. Now, how do you do that? There's 2 ways. Now, we are in, what are we in? How to say. How to say, there are 2 parts. What are the 2 parts? One is storytelling. I didn't tell you that. One is storytelling and the other is body language. What have I been doing since the moment I came in here? Have these stopped working? No. Whenever I said tiny, small, miniature, my hand moves in like that. Tiny, small, miniature. Saw that? Big, gigantic, huge, enormous. Saw that. Right? If I said big, gigantic, huge, enormous, like that, sound like a parrot talking. Wow, saw the hands. What happened with the hands when I put the hands? That is your how to say. Using your body language. Did you know 90% of communication is your body language, not your words. Right? Now today, it's my second day in India. Now my friends are constantly talking in Hindi, but I can understand it. Right? Now I'm slowly understanding it. Right? My friend was talking about something to his mother. You're talking about this, no? How do you know? I'm not a master of Hindi. I'm a master of body language. So that's why I listen to the body language and I use it also. Your how to say has mainly to do with your Harry Potter, Voldemort. You sound like you sound like Voldemort in Harry Potter. I can't hear. Body language. Right. Okay. Good. Better. Body language is number 1.
right? What is body language? Body language is your eyes, right? Your smile, your hands, your voice, right? All of it. The way you move. Now you saw, here's a very important thing. Now I use body language from the start. When I said, there are three things I want to tell you. What to say, how to say. I came to left and right. Did you see that? Yes. I did that in the very start. So now when you go home 2 weeks from now, even if you don't remember who this person who came and talked to you, I don't expect you to, right? People will speak to you, come and go, right? You don't have to remember me. Remember the words that I said. But you will remember some guy with white hair, young guy with white hair, came, right, and told you something here, something there. You will remember that because you have visually remembered it. 90% of body language is what the mind registers. Why? Because in the Stone Age, if we go back to the Stone Age, we were always a pack animal. Human beings were a pack animal. We looked at the others and learnt, right? If in my cave, somebody ate the green mushrooms and they felt super energetic, I will remember that. But in the other cave, I saw that man eating the yellow mushrooms and he died. Okay, don't eat yellow mushrooms. Don't eat yellow. You know that, right? Why is that? But you believe what you see. Do you understand? What you see is the body language, right? You don't see the words I'm saying. That my mouth is moving left and right and up and down and here and there. But what you feel is what you see from the body. Because that's how our DNA is thousands of years, millions of years old. We register things from body language. That is why body language is very important. Do you understand? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, brilliant. Now the other thing is storytelling. Right when I started, I gave you a small story to tell. All right? What is it? I told you a story of a 14-year-old boy. And all of a sudden you all were like, huh? Isn't he here to teach about public speaking? Huh? 14-year-old boy? Who thought that? For a second at least, a millisecond, right? You feel that, right? What is he talking about? Isn't it? That suspense by storytelling is also important. If you can, so my students, I always teach them, if you can, one student, there was a medical student, I gave him a challenge, talk about biology and the importance of biology by bringing in a story, right? Very tough, but he did it. You can become a great speaker if you are a great thinker. Everybody is a great thinker. All of you can have stories in your own life. How did you come here today? On the way, when you were walking on the street, did you all of a sudden think about your best friend who went abroad and learned really good? He's not even with me now, but I have it slightly jotted down. Do you understand? Never overestimate yourself. Nobody can take away your fear. Now coming back to this red pen, right? Here's why all of you are great speakers and how everything in your life is a story you can tell in your speeches. I'm going to teach you the number one trick that everyone can use to speak about anything. When you see an object, don't think about the object, think about where you got it from. Let me tell you something about this red pen. This red pen is much like any other red pen. There are ticks and wrong signs being drawn across little children's books all around the world. There's a little boy right now at this very moment who is going home. He's home already, it's 10 to 5. That boy is home showing his mother the book where his teacher has put a red star and he's happy because he got a red star. But at the same time, in another part of the world, there's a little girl going home to her father, sad and not showing the book because she got a big cross because she didn't do right at school today. That little boy is happy. That little girl is sad. Their happiness and sadness is controlled by one thing, this red pen. The red pen is no ordinary pen. It's a pen that is, as of now, this moment, changing millions of lives around the world, changing millions of little smiles into sadness, or changing little sad boys and girls into the happiest boys and girls in the world. All done by this red pen. That's a speech. Now, you didn't have to clap, but my point is, look at your desk. It's a blue desk, right? Look at your wall, look at your ceiling, look at your projector, look at your fan. Everything, guys, has a story. Look at your pencil case. Maybe your grandfather gave it to you. Maybe whoever gave it to you. And maybe the way they gave it is a funny way. You know, maybe you got it for your birthday. Maybe your sister got it for your birthday and you stole it from the sister. She doesn't know. Right? There might be so many stories in your life. Now, with that trick that I showed you, with the red pen, thank you very much, you can make any speech in your life. Can't you? Yes, right? Yes. You can do it. You definitely can. Right? And even the mask that you're wearing, you can use it as a story. Right? Even the scarf that you're wearing has a story, has so much of powerful stories. We know that. Right? Even the cap that you're wearing. So many stories you can tell. How you got the cap? Maybe you stole it from your brother. Right? I stole his cap once. Oh, this is my brother. Right? I stole his cap once. He's also an excellent speaker, although he's very silent right now. So we're both introverts. Right? Introverts who turned extroverts. Right? I'm Satyajit, he's Prabhajit. Right? Hindi names, but Sri Lankan. That is the power of your how. Storytelling and body language. Brilliant, right? Storytelling and body language. Now, fear of public speaking. I just said that you can never take away your fear. Why? Even after years of practice, just before coming near you all, I felt a few seconds of fear. Oh my God, there's so many people. That happens to everyone. Even though people say, I am not afraid of public speaking, I'm the master, I'm the guru. People say that. Many people, even in Sri Lanka, right? But there is a tiny bit of fear. But here's what happens. You are scared, but your fear reduces over time. Tell me, when you go home and in the next morning, when you brush your teeth, do you wake up in the morning, practice to brush your teeth with your hand, and then go to the washroom, then take out this, and like an exam, do you do that? No, you wake up and done. Right? So why is that? Power of practice. Very well said. Now again a bit of science, right? Your human brain has a lot of these tiny dots. I won't go into fascinating words, right? Neurons, they're called. These neurons, the more you practice, so the day 1 you brush your teeth, one neuron is active. Day 2 you brush your teeth, another one is active. Day 3, day 4, they form a small tiny layer of fat that creates a pathway such as that you don't have to put any effort for that to happen, right? It's almost effortless. Have you noticed some habits that you do? If there are smokers will definitely understand this, right? It's a negative example, but I won't use that, right? After something that they do after a coffee, all of a sudden hand goes to the pocket. Why is that? They're used to having a smoke after the coffee, right? Ladies out of the shower, right? You need to get your hair back. Muscle memory, right? Men, after you're done shaving, aftershave, I don't know if you're used to it. You're used to it, right? Small things, huh? After you're done using a pen, putting the clip back. Muscle memory. Smallest things, yeah? Everything is muscle memory. So imagine Usain Bolt. So his body should remember all of that years of practice. And remember that, right? That's day 1, 2, 3. But what if you do it 20 years, 30 years, 40 years? The power of practice, huh? The more you do something, the better you can get at it. Isn't it? Yes, sir. Am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong. Yes, sir. No, right? Why is that? This is science. This is proven. Right? There will be a person who beat cancer and is running a marathon right now. Why? That person didn't just wake up from cancer and all of a sudden, I'm going to run a marathon. No. Maybe they said it, but they practiced for years and years, months and months. Do you understand? How did I learn Sinhala so well that I can present on television? Practice. I watched people and practice. There are so many ways to practice, of course. Practice, practice, practice. But don't just practice. Right? Imagine you are practicing a speech and then tomorrow you give the same speech. Teacher says no. Then again you practice and go do the same speech. Obviously it's going to be no. Practice, but with feedback. That's why you have your lecturer. Saw that. Practice with feedback. You practice once, then you saw, okay, one error. You show it to somebody you think is senior to you. Okay, your lecturer. Then lecturer tells you, okay, right, this is a mistake. You have to fix it. Right? You fix that. Then you practice again and then you put the speech up. Practice again. Times 2. That is not then plus 2. It becomes to the power 2 because you are
embracing the power of that practice with that fault that you fixed. Then again, second speech when you do, your lecturer will say, 2 more things you have to fix, this and this. Then when you do that, that again multiplies, it's the power of that coming into a better speech. Then imagine you do practice the same speech 10 times. You will not have practiced the same speech 10 times. You have corrected maybe 100 mistakes in 10 speech. 10 speeches. Do you understand that? Power of practice. Not just for speeches, for anything in life. Huh? If you want to quit a habit also, this is how. Do you understand that? Yeah? Yes. Right. That is the power of practice. Now, body language, I said about power of practice, so many things, right? Another thing I said in the morning, I said when we started rather, apologies, why you felt good. Now you feel a little sleepy, right? No? Don't lie.
No,
You're seated. You're feeling, compared to how you started with Chikamalaya? Yes, right?
yes.
Why is that? You're seated, your cortisol levels are high. Cortisol is what? Can someone tell me, science students? Fear hormone. Exactly, the fear hormone, right? It generates fear as in, for a good cause, of course, right? Fear in the body. Fear hormone is often defeated by HGH, the human growth hormone. When you wake up in the morning, why does your hand just go and automatically slap the alarm clock? Why? Why is that? Because you're afraid to stand up and do the same day again. My God, what is this life? I want to sleep more. Why is that? Fear hormone is up. You have to, how do you do that? How do you take away the fear hormone? HGH. HGH counters the fear hormone. How do you develop HGH? By working out, dancing, moving, using your energy. Do you understand that? Right? A lot of people think that they can't do something. Now, honestly, to be very frank, last week I had a very busy week. I couldn't work out. And then I was at a point very stressed about this journey also. I learned that the moment I walked in. How? There? Because I'm an introvert. I listen. I read the room. Do you understand? These tiny details, the moment. So I can make a inspirational speech from that. Right? The fan spins. Nobody cares or looks at the fan. It gives you all the wind you want. But what does it do? Only thing it does, it makes a tiny hum. And that hum is the rhythm of its life. It's like a teacher circling around, giving you all the wind you want, all the knowledge you need. It makes a tiny hum in its life. And one fine day, on a very ancient day, once it's done doing its job, the hum will stop. The fan is just like a teacher. It will teach you life. It will teach you everything. But the hum will also come to a stop. I just compared a fan to a teacher and made an inspirational story out of it. How did I do that? I listened. Did you see that? Does that help you? Yeah? Okay. Any other questions?